Welcome, students. Today we are going to discuss about the conquest of Bengal. As in the last video, we have discussed about the arrival of the Europeans in India, how they traveled to India and they established their colonies. And in this section, today we will discuss about the conquest which the Britishers have started to gather power over India. The East India Company set up their first factory on the banks of Hooghly in 1651. Underline this point. The East India Company set up their first factory on the banks of Hooghly in 1651. The company traders in those times known as factors operated from this base, which was essentially a warehouse and also had its offices. This factory led to the settlement of merchants and traders in its vicinity, and that is how by 1696 the company started to make a fort around the settlement. In a couple of years, the company obtained zamindari rights over 3 villages, one of which was called Kalikata, which later grew into the city of Kolkata, now known as Kolkata. The commencement of expansion by the East India Company raised the alarm among the local Nawabs, which led to the famous Battle of Plassey in 1757. Dear students, two major incidents in history, the Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, was the turning point for the Britishers to get the control over Bengal, which was the center of power in that period. Let's see what was the consequences of this battle. The Battle of Plassey, 1757 CE. The Battle of Plassey took place between the Nawab of Bengal, Sirajuddaulah, and the East India Company. The East India Company was interested in increasing its control over the Bengal region, as it was a very fertile area. At that time, this region comprised of the present-day Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. The various points of conflict which arose between the Nawab and the company were as follows. The misuse of royal firman by the company. In 1717, the company had received a royal firman. Farman means order. An order from the emperor, from the Mughal emperor Farrukh Shir, to trade without paying any duty or tax, but the executives of the company misused this farman and indulged in private trade without paying any duty. Sirajuddaulah objected to this practice of evading the tax, which infuriated the company. Now, second point, fortification of Calcutta. The English had begun to strengthen the fortification of Fort William and mounted guns on the walls of the fort without the permission of Sirajuddaulah. Now, the third point, disrespecting the Nawab. The company started writing arrogant and disrespectful letters to the Nawab, which hurt his pride. These things infuriated the Nawab, who in turn instructed the companies to stop meddling in the political affairs, stop fortifications, and to pay taxes. The negotiations between the Nawab and the company failed, and the Nawab led his soldiers to the company's factory at Qasim Bazar and took over the warehouse, captured the officials, and disarmed their soldiers. He he blockaded the English ships and marched to Calcutta to establish control over the fort there. The British Company officials in Madras were ordered to send forces which moved under Lord Robert Clive. They had navy to assist in the fight to regain control to their assets in Calcutta. Now, Lord Clive entered into a conspiracy with Mir Zafar, the commander in chief of the Nawab, and promised to make him the Nawab after the battle. He also enlisted the support of Jagat Seth, bankers of Bengal. The battle took place in the year 1757 between the forces of Sirajuddaulah and the army led by Lord Clive. The weakened army of the Nawab was defeated in the battle and he was forced to flee. Later, Sirajuddaulah was captured and put to death. Mir Zafar was made the Nawab of Bengal and he compensated the company for the losses they had suffered. As a result of the capturing of Calcutta, Mir Jafar distributed large sums as gifts to the company officials. He was mostly a puppet at the hands of the British. The Battle of Plassey led to the conquest of Bengal and paved way for British rule in India. It exposed the weakness of the army and the Indian Nawabs. Now, let's see the Battle of Buxar. 1764 CE. 1764 CE. The company was only interested in expanding trade and was not keen to take over administration of territories, but this was getting difficult as the puppet Nawab was not as helpful as anticipated. Mir Zafar was ultimately replaced by Mir Qasim, the son-in-law of Mir Zafar. Mir Qasim also did not come up to the expectations of the company, as he gave parallel trading rights to the Indian merchants and started to strengthen his army. Mir Qasim forged an alliance with the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and the Nawab of Awadh, Sujauddaulah. Their combined forces fought with the British forces at Buxar on 22 October 1764. The British won the battle and the company gained the rule of Bengal. Mir Qasim was overthrown and Mir Jafar was reinstated under the new arrangement of the Nawab was required to pay a sum of 5 lakh to the company every month, but the company realized that it needed more money to sustain its armies and meet the demands of trade. Now let's see what were the consequences of the Battle of Buxar. The consequence: the British ultimately realized that they would have to take an administrative powers from the Indian puppet Nawabs so as to meet their requirements. After the victory in the Battle of Buxar, the company had established its dominance and had begun to dictate terms over the local authorities. Mir Jafar died in 1765 and his successor handed over powers of military and criminal jurisdiction to the company. Awadh was restored to Sujauddaulah. In return, Sujauddaulah gave the districts of Kora and Allahabad, now Prayagraj, to the company. Shah Alam II also granted the company the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, and in return Shah Alam II was given an annual tribute of rupees 26 lakh. Shah Alam began to live in Allahabad, now Prayagraj, under the protection of the British. The Diwani solved a major problem which was being faced by the company. Though in the 18th century the company had expanded its trade and was purchasing large number of goods, it did not have much to sell in India. This caused them to pay in gold and silver for the purchases. The system of Diwani collection solved this problem.